Hi everyone. We're going to start something completely new, which I'm calling Beyond the Natural. And this is a video blog, which means just a compilation of different videos and different conversations about sublime, transcendental moments, something that's happened to the people I'm going to be chatting with that's just a bit beyond the natural. You know, because there is so much negativity around right now. And, you know, it's heartbreaking to watch the news and hear the stories of loss and devastation. But, you know, if we fill ourselves with that completely, it's going to have a very draining, negative effect on us. So I had this idea to try to have the kind of opposite type of story, an uplifting story, and to talk to loads of different people who would be willing to share like a supernatural moment, a transcendent moment, something that happened that made them feel as though, you know, there might be a God who is on the case, who does care. So my guest tonight is Dwi Cook, and she's going to tell you a little bit about herself and whatever she wants to share with us. Hi, Dwi.
Hi, Simone. We've known each other for a few years, and I think I've come to Olympia, but quite often I was also working because I examine spoken English, and I'm quite often abroad, which is rather fun, or has been rather fun until this year. And I would be able to come back for one day or something. But I love your stand, and I'm sure there'll be people watching, I hope, who came to your wonderful outreaches because they were so beautifully thought out and planned. So I do teach English I don't teach it now. I examine English as a foreign language. I now have to do it on Zoom, which I've had to train to do. My husband and I now run something called the Dream Academy, which is an online membership website, online anyway, and it's a membership site. And people pay a small amount every month, and then they have access to all the resources on the site, including posting up their dreams. And I suppose this is what's happened after years of doing other stuff. At the moment, that is the door that's open for the two of us to do.
Great. Yeah. Now, you said before you were going to share a dream that you had that you felt could have a relevance to people listening and certainly was meaningful to you.
Oh, yeah. This dream was a few years ago. But that doesn't matter because dreams are dreams. They're not always literal. They're quite often metaphorical. You sort of have to grab them. But some dreams just can apply in many different situations. And I think this one is extremely relevant for today. But the dream I actually had was years ago, and it was specifically about my husband and I had just been to Scotland to a dream interpretation conference. It had lasted 3 days. And to be perfectly honest, we really had no idea about how we were fascinated by dreams. We had no idea how to interpret them. So we're on a steep learning curve, and we were extremely encouraged. So I think it was the last night of the conference. It had finished, and then we were going home the next day because it was a long drive. We lived in those days in the Gloucestershire area. And so I had this dream, and it was my husband and I in a great big American convertible. I like a sort of Cadillac thing. It was blue, and the hood was down, and we were driving along the beach, chattering away, and then suddenly we approached the tidal road. Now, that tidal road is not exactly where it was in the dream, but I know the tidal road. So, but a dream's a dream. And anyway, we approach it, and we're not really paying much attention, but we notice that the tide is coming in, and so the tidal road already has water running over it. And we drive on, and very soon as we started to drive through the water, we realized, not a good idea. We reversed out as quickly as we could, because we were going to the car was going to be, the engine would be ruined, or the car would be swept away. It wasn't that bad, but we knew it wasn't wise. In fact, we're going to ruin the car. The car, by the way, wasn't our car. It was the Dream. The car was incredibly significant, but it wasn't our car. It was the conference had been taught by an American. Revelation is blue. So an open top would mean like an open heaven, like we were going to have loads and loads of ideas and revelation, and we were really excited. And then we had to come to a full stop and wait. So in the Dream, it was like, I didn't panic because I knew that it's a tidal road. So yeah, it might be covered for 3 hours, but it was never covered all the time because I knew the road. And it was just a question of reversing and waiting. So it was an issue too of timing. Yes, but not yet. But it was going to be good.
Wow.
Yeah.
It didn't leave you disappointed that you didn't fulfill it?
No, it made us thoughtful about, because we're enthusiastic and we would have rushed into it, it made us thoughtful about, let's get all the ducks in a row first. Let's think about this and that, because we were going to start immediately teaching and training people on dream interpretation, and really we didn't know enough. So it was it was like we had a wise signal from above. Just fine, I let you go on this wonderful course, I want you to use it, but not just yet.
And of course, that's something you're very passionate about. So you had to manage your expectations, I guess.
Yes. And also we knew that we had this group of people around us, and we knew that one of them had been interpreting dreams for years. And this person would be like, wow, tell me everything, I want to know. And it was like that pressure that we had to sort of just, not exactly calm it down to a point. I think actually with that particular lady, we did spend time with her because she really did know quite a lot about dream interpretation, although she had not had any training or teaching, but she read up about it for years. And I think for her, it would have been quite cruel not to have said anything. Right. But generally, we did not sort of stand up and say, we're going to do this now. We waited.
And it's making me think that, for so many of us in this time of pandemic, loads of our plans have been put on hold. And maybe, there is a wisdom about the timing or something that is going to work out eventually. And for people that are tempted to feel really discouraged and really peed off with the delay.
Yeah, true.
Maybe there is actually a bit of encouragement from what you're saying, that when it does all come together, it's going to be great, it's going to be fine. So for people perhaps not to get too downhearted by delay, because a lot of preparation can be happening that makes the whole thing work in the long run, would you say?
Then, yeah, I would actually say that that's totally relevant now to people who are thinking, I had this idea, I had this project, what do I do? Not to give up on it. I would say that carry on. We had to wait. We had to prepare a lot more. It was our enthusiasm. We didn't have COVID then to worry about, or viruses, but we did have our own selves because our enthusiasm can throw us out of, we weren't ready. And I think some of us at the moment think we are ready, and it's the virus that's stopping us, but it's just, well, relax, because this virus, it's not going to be here forever. Strides are being made, and there are still, I find even now, there are creative ways to do things differently. Look at this. Instead of me writing a blog that you might put on your website, we're talking, which we might not have thought about before. So
certainly wouldn't. Yeah.
So I think I really hear there are a lot of creative people who I think are very depressed, who feel, will I ever sing again? Will I ever play my instrument? Will I ever paint? Will I ever exhibit? And I think they will. And I think great things are already happening in those work, but not to give up, because the time will come when the tide recedes and the road is clear and we can drive through safely.
In the open top.
Oh, yeah. That was amazing. All that was quite amazing. You see, I had never understood my dreams. And if I had had dreams, they'd been weird. And suddenly I was getting these clear dreams. I did have to spend some time thinking about what that meant. Because again, we were fresh out of interpretation school. So we had to sit and work out what it might have meant. Why a blue car, and why the open top? But actually, we'd learned so much on our course. We did work it out. Which is what people. Sorry, Simone. Sorry, carry on.
Well, I just want to say to people listening that we have a lot of people around the Spirit Encounter group who've been trained by you and your husband, and so we can. We'd love to hear anyone's dreams. Send them to us on Transformed by Light or our email address, and we'll, come back to you with an interpretation. We may go to the experts. We may be able to do it ourselves, but we can certainly give you something that might be a key, might be an insight in your dreams, particularly when they stand out and you just know that they mean more than you've really understood. So do send them in.
Those are the dreams. You're quite right. The ones that stand out, the ones that sort of haven't gone away straight away. They come back and you're thinking about them. And you would just and you may even think you know what they mean, but you would like someone else to look at them and help you, or say, yeah, I think that's great. You've done well there. Just to run it past your team or us if you want to. Well, but yeah, do it that way. Yeah, we'd be more than happy to help anybody who's struggling with and sometimes people have had dreams that really worry them, and actually when they have the interpretation, it gives them such a relief. Such a relief, because they realize that they were dreaming, and what they dreamt actually was a good thing, but they had interpreted it probably in their own light, so they might have given it a bit of a spin which wasn't ever there.
There can be more hope in dreams than we realize, can't there?
I couldn't agree more. And they speak life to us, unless it's a nightmare, but that's another subject.
Well, that's been fascinating, and I just hope that people will engage with their dreams, and who knows, heaven's speaking to you through all kinds of different ways, and particularly dreams at this time. So thank you, Dri. And
it's been a delight. Thank you so much for inviting me on. Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll see you again.
I hope so. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.